Hi, welcome to Power Yoga Canberra's pocket practice. I'm Justine, and for today's practice, you're going to need a few items. If you've got a big round cushion, bolster, use that, bring that to your mat. You'll also need a block or a brick, and for some of us, we might need a towel. So if you've got those three items, that'd be great to have those there, as well as, of course, your beautiful mat space today. Today's practice is going to be about what is Yin Yoga and what is Yin Yoga about. So Yin Yoga is all about coming down onto the floor and taking our poses in a yin way. And when we describe yin, I want to talk about yin and yang. Yang is dynamic, yang is movement, yang is strong masculine energy, whereas yin is quiet, it's receptive, it's a passive, intuitive, slow, gentle energy. So if we put it that way, then we want the practice of Yin Yoga to be reflective of those yin qualities. That's why most of our poses in a yin practice are floor-based. Allows us to be more gentle, a little bit more quiet, and spending some time in the practices and the poses rather than just moving dynamically from one pose to the next, as you would in a power, more yang practice. Today I wanted to use the pose of butterfly, folding forwards, just to kind of unpack, I guess, a little bit more about what yin is and how we do yin yoga. So with all of your props at the ready, let's start to get ourselves into a butterfly pose. And I'll show you first what that looks like, and then you can come with me and join me. Okay? So with all your props within easy reach, just place them to the side edge of your mat for now. And turn sideways on your mat, bringing your bottom onto the floor and your feet out in front. And see if you can bring your big toes to touch and your heels and soles of your feet into alignment. And as you do this, bring your heels further away from the groin so that there's a really big wide diamond of space out in front. And if you come to this position, next thing I want you to notice is your pelvis tucked under? Do you have a bit of a bubble in your lower back? If you do feel like you're sitting back a little like this, and it feels like it's an effort to sit up tall, this is where your towel comes in. So get your towel and bring it underneath your seat bones. And with your pelvis now sitting a little bit more upright, it'll help it tip forwards, because that's what we want to do next. We want to start to gently and slowly, in a yin way, tip our bodies forwards coming into this pose. So this is just the demonstration to start with. I'll set you up in a moment. Once you come to this pose, it's just the very first edge of stretch that I want you to pause at. Okay, so this is where it's now a really, I guess, pivotal part of the practice, pivotal part of the pose, where you want to recognize where is that first point where I feel something. And that's where you're going to stop. Okay, so that's the way we're going to set this up, and I'll teach the rest of the pose to you when you come into it. So if you now can bring your body up and come into a seated butterfly, come and join me. If you need the towel underneath you, grab that, put your props to the side, we might need them as time goes on, but bring yourself into butterfly. And so I'm just going to remind you as you come in just to come to that first edge of stretch. It's not always a stretch. Sometimes in Yin Yoga we might feel a compression or even the quality of a twist, which is a stretch and compression together. But let's find the first point of feedback, and let's pause there and let's hold. And the three pillars of practice in a yin practice, and the poses that we're taking, are to come to that first edge, to pause, and then to stay. So we're not pushing, we're not forcing. Remember, it's a yin energy that we're cultivating. So we're coming into this pose in a softer, more gentle, quiet way. And as you start to come into the pose, if you have lower back issues, stay a little bit longer and flatter through the lumbar spine. And this is where perhaps you'd use your props in front. So if your lower back does need a little bit more alignment, bring the bolster under your chest and propping it up onto your chest, then just keep it there to keep your lower back long and to keep your spine without compression. If your lower back doesn't have any issues, you can start to gently round, because what we're going to do as the pose goes on, we're here for 5 minutes, is to gently start to soften. So if it feels okay for your lower back to round, you can start to allow that to happen now. Letting your spine drape forwards, and your body's relaxed, you're not squeezing or contracting muscles. Soft yin-like energy. And as you drop your head forwards, just address whether you have any neck issues or suffer from any migraines. And if that is you, then perhaps you might want to use your brick, your block, underneath your forehead. If you don't have any issues with your neck though, you might just want to let your head hang forwards. And this starts to build more of a capacity in the tissues that surround this area of the neck and shoulders. And what we're doing now is coming into those deeper tissues, the connective tissues, the more yin-like tissues of our body. When we talk about yin in an anatomical way, it's all about the interior. So yang is on the exterior, the more superficial surfaces of our body, whereas yin is deeper on the inside, where the fascia, the ligament, and the connective tissue reside in your body. And as we hold here for the next 3 minutes, all kinds of benefits are going on the inside. So what is happening on the inside is that you're gently testing the deeper tissue that is often left untouched. When I say often left untouched, it's not often stimulated in regular exercise routine. And this deeper tissue has a very strong, dull ache to it when it's stimulated. So notice, can you feel a dull, achy stretch? And see whether you can just connect with a deeper breath down to the diaphragm, just down to the lower belly. And stimulate your nervous system to send a parasympathetic nervous system response, one of rest and relax, one of rest and digest, letting go. And we do that with a deeper breath on the exhale. And you'll feel yourself shifting from the first edge of stretch down into the second, third, fourth. Maybe even deeper edges of stretch as your body now comes into this time that we're holding in the pose. And we've got about a minute left. So making sure those 3 things are going on, that we're at our edge, that we are holding, we're pausing, and then we're staying. And we use our breath to access the parasympathetic, the softness, just coming all the way through now, relaxing us. Letting us have this gentle experience of yin rather than striving or pushing, rather than forcing. Instead, we're just exploring, we're discovering our bodies as we take the last 3 deep breaths here. Gentle yin practice. Take your last deep breath. When you're fully breathing out, you're going to exhale. And then slowly pushing down through the points of contact you have through your body and the floor. You're going to come up. Just In a very gentle, slow way, removing the props on the way up if you've got the props out in front or even behind. And your body won't move very quickly, so you might have to manually help your body come out by bringing your hands underneath your knees, closing your knees against each other. Taking a transition time, which might include a little bit of neutralizing, coming out of the stretch, some movement, maybe even an alternate yoga pose. And so that was an introduction to how we take a yin pose with our butterfly pose as the example. But there's so many other poses that we'll be taking through our pocket practices, so can't wait for you to experience those. But thanks for practicing with us today in the pocket practice. Namaste.